conversation. So we have three topics. We can go with them, and we can see if we can go through all of them. Like overall, the topic is ABM. We talk about sales and marketing alignment, regulation, and if we have time, we can talk a little bit about LinkedIn and personal branding. Good, good, good. Okay, do you want to do it like a bit of a podcast intro or just go through questions and answers? How do you want to go? Yeah. I'm Nick Malekos, also they call me Nikos locally here. So I'm doing a little bit of everything around growth, specializing on SaaS, and I'm working also on B2B and enterprise sales. I'm working mostly on growth with a specialty on SEO, but right now, the last year, I have been working a lot with the ABM approach and setting up some systems with outreach and longer sales cycle, how we can enrich the journey and get more sales. Uh, Similar background, I think, coming from different places. Yeah, I will go through again with agenda. I have some notes here. So our overall topic for today is ABM. So we are talking about account-based marketing and how you can set up this process in especially sales-heavy organizations. Our first overall topic is sales and marketing alignment. We'll talk about regulation and how regulation is impacts and how we can go through it. And if we have some time about a little bit of LinkedIn personal branding. So, Stefan, let's go first on the sales and marketing alignment. This is a very difficult topic, something a lot of marketers are complaining about, a lot of sales are complaining about. And what are your main challenges around sales and marketing alignment? I wouldn't agree or disagree. I would just say that I haven't seen it having, I have never seen perfect alignment. Like, for me, it's a work in progress every time. Like it's a fight every day, and you have to struggle to go there, even if you never reach. But the closer you are, the better the results. Uh, it's That's a difficult thing. I think it's a feeling of understanding. I don't think you can exactly measure it. You cannot put a KPI on it. At least that's my thing, or I haven't discovered a KPI around it. Yeah. My mm, my measure, not a KPI, but my measure of knowing when it is when not one side is complaining too much about the other, because there will be some complaints. So the more each side is complaining, marketing is not giving results, sales are not delivering. When the complaining is being reduced, because there will be some complaints, then you are close to alignment. And for example, if you go to calls and sales want something different and you want something different and you're meeting with them, there is no alignment. So that's why it's a feeling. I cannot measure and say if you have below three complaints by sales per week, it's aligned. And if you have more than 10, it's not aligned. Uh, mhm. Mhm. Yeah, yeah. That's my first job there. So if we let's say if you put a KPI there, I will put a KPI of a checklist. So what does this checklist have? Like my first step is that I have the same or almost the same definitions with the sales. I'm trying to tell them like my target right now is SQLs and meetings booked, but I need to have an MQL. I have to bring some shitty leads. I cannot bring. I cannot optimize if I cannot bring shitty leads. If they tell me, oh, I want just 10 C levels every month, I'm like, yeah, I'm not picking them. I'm not asking them, you complete the form. I have to bring 100 people, 10 of those will be executives, but I need to bring 90 shitty leads and I have to figure them out. But so I have my MQL, those the 100 shitty leads, and 10 SQLs, the 10 C levels. So the checklist is a definition. If we have the same definition of a good lead, you're in a very good first step. Then it's what you're saying. If the MQL to SQL ratio is good, and maybe each company can put their own, like it's 10%, it's 30%, it's 50%, depends what you want. So there you can have a second alignment KPI. I will want a third one, like how much you agree on activities and you follow up. Like if This is on the marketing side. So this is what we discuss is the burden of marketing. Have a good definition, you have a good conversion rate to SQL. But what's the burden of sales? They have to follow up. So my third action, and this is the most difficult for me, is having the sales complete the CRM. So CRM hygiene and CRM note taking. I see you are getting scared. And you don't have them with you on events. You don't have them on sales meetings. You don't have the AI recording there and then going and taking action on your CRM. Yeah. And one in between steps, SQL to MQL conversion. For each company will be different, but let's say 30% might be good one. No, no, no. I had it recently. Yeah, yeah. So we have an agreement. We made an agreement. I would say it's a social contract. you get into meetings with sales, the VPs of sales, the CROs, and you agree with them. It's not, you have an agreement, it's a social contract between us. It's not a measurable mathematics for me. So I cannot think of anything else that is solid. But I, I want to mention something that you said. Like I had this case they told me about last year. They had this issue in a company. I was working with them with a previous marketer. Like they were sending emails. I don't know if it's randomly. They understand how they are building the lists, and there were some leads that unsubscribed from all emails, and the sales were complaining that they cannot touch the lead towards the last steps of the sales process. So I think that there is a misunderstanding. Legal base is what it means, mass unsubscribing from mass emails, and personal communication from the sales. There is nothing that unsubscribes you from a personal email except if they block the domain. And the sale and the salesperson, they can go on LinkedIn, send a message, they can have a phone call. They have many routes to do it. So there is a misunderstanding there. But also there was bad emailing by the marketing team. I think they probably did an automation and they sent too many emails to too many people in a few days. So probably something broke. I cannot blame the person there. Uh, these things happen. So in my case, what I will do is that instead of just seeing ABM through emails, ABM can be uploading the list on LinkedIn and retargeting. ABM can be sending them a letter, a gift to their office. It could be many things. So if you see ABM through the specs of email, then it's limited and you can get blocked and you don't have alignment. And with one bad move, you destroy a lot of things. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's very good. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. But that's the thing. I had two experiences with email newsletters, just restarting email newsletters after a long time. They were stopped. And the one was last year. We just sent one newsletter after they collected an email list for more than a year, 1.5, just announcing, the last year we did one, two, three, four, five things. You sign up through any form through 1 year, and they just sent one email. They had, I think, 20 responses, and half of those were for a demo. It, just because they emailed, and this is a list reactivation. Another company, after many months of not sending these emails, just a small part of the audience, huge deals responded. And I was checking those deals. Those deals are 1, 2 years old. They are in the CRM, they're on Salesforce for a long time. So exactly, they sign up through an event, some of them, some through paid ads, some through personal connections of the salespeople. Some knew the company because it was good, it was mentioned in a Forrester report, and they were never activated, or it was never the right time. By keeping your funnel active and reactivating all the leads, you can get so much out of it. But it has to be a constant on activity. It's remarketing on ads. It's email newsletters. Stupid things. It's stupid things. Just coordinating with your events team to see who is coming from your whale accounts in the event. Stupid things work, but people are just not doing it, or they just want to see ROI numbers. I cannot give you an ROI on the email. It's not an entry channel, it's a reactivation channel. I was doing that in an agency. It was very difficult to run an agency. I was there as a partner for 8 months. It was difficult to do your own marketing if you are working for the marketing of your clients, especially if you are almost full at work. I even stopped posting on LinkedIn for a few months because I was so into work and didn't have time. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, regulation, legal issues, and all that. That's my nightmare. Okay, let me see. I have a question. Maybe you solve it for me. How do you convince legal to approve tools that might not be safe enough for them in an enterprise setting? Let's say tools like Play, HubSpot, RB2B, the Six Sense, the ones that are dangerously sharing the data around. Okay, I will help you a bit. If I'm honest and I understand the legal concerns about GDPR, CCPA, all these, most of these tools, most of anything you can do in marketing to be effective, it's not allowed. Just simple, not allowed. Like anything you do to be effective, it's not allowed. Like it's all a risk. Yes. I have also another approach, but it's similar to the first way that you described. Someone has to take the blame. So when the legal team blocks a lot of things, you take the one with the lowest risk, and you have to discuss with the CMO, the CEO, depends who is responsible, and get an approval. So technically, the CEO is above the legal team. Even if they say we don't trust it, our legal opinion is that it's not covering it. It's a legal opinion. The CEO can decide whether they take the risk, if it's big enough, it's worth it or not. And maybe you get a lawsuit, maybe you don't. I had different cases in this case on the paid ads targeting competitors in 2 or 3 companies. Was it that they got a cease and desist letter because we are targeting a keyword of a competitor. In some cases, you are okay because you might not say anything. In some cases, you missed one of the automations of in Google said something that you not, and you missed it. Maybe it's a letter that you missed. So, and there are some industries that are very litigious. For example, fintech, legal tech, enterprise, even ERP. I had an ERP client that I didn't know they were so litigious. They were fighting and they had to take down a lot of comparison pages, and they went to court. They went to court, and they are allowed to keep 4 of their pages but not build anymore, and not change the content there. It's crazy, but there are some industries that they play the lawsuit game a lot. But this is not always the case. This is an activity. Like one is paid ads, the other was landing pages. Some people care about the ABM with the emails or the identification of the on the website. There are different problems, and you might get attacked by anything, by a competitor, by a client, by a bad actor that is just trying to take money. They don't care about their privacy. They just want to make money. It's a lot of cases that you have to take a risk, and if the risk is, do I make 5 million and I pay 50,000 in a lawsuit, you have to decide if it's worth it. So difficult. Very depends on the state there, what you're allowed to do. Mm-hmm. It's difficult. So a couple of things that you said. I had another case discussing with a performance expert telling me about the differences between states in the US where you're allowed to use logo on personalization or not. So this is state by state. Like imagine the variations that you have to do. You need a software just to manage that. And I will not go there. Like it's so complex, so difficult, so scary. I'm not going to even touch it because you did the wrong ad in the wrong state. You get a lawsuit because you use the logo of a company that you're not allowed to use. Well, somewhere you're allowed, somewhere you're not. On about the swags, yes, it's very difficult. Also, you have to see what works, and in some cases, invitations are better than gifting. Like we had this discussion on the okay, we're going a bit away from the legal, but let's keep it on the if they're allowed or not. They're allowed to go to dinners that they're invited, but you have most people, most C levels are bored to go to dinners. You have to actually give something good. You have to have a good speaker. You have to have a few good people to talk with. If you just they know they will be expecting a sales pitch. If they just expect a sales pitch, they will just say no. So inviting them is a good way. Another way is inviting them to be a speaker or an invitee or giving them a ticket for an event. May be okay in some cases because it's an invitation, and this way you give them an expensive event ticket, and it's not the hotel, for example. They have to pay the hotel, the travel themselves. There are gifting that you can go through, but you have to be careful, and it depends on the industry. Like you said, pharma, healthcare, cybersecurity are very, very difficult to do these things. And one thing I heard recently about cybersecurity is that most of the higher ups right now with remote work, they're not even in the office. You cannot even find their address. If you send them a gift in the office, they will just not be there. They will never get it. It's a waste of time. You have to know if they're in the office, and you have to know that they're in this address, which is even more difficult. Yeah, yeah. That's how I got a T-shirt from HRs. They sent me a link to an address. So this is very good, but they have to open the emails, and they have to accept it, and they have to go put their address, and they might be worried about their address. that's why a combination of these sponsor events and the invitations is better usually. Like I have seen this, I don't like this into one sales process, but the podcast invitation. So there is the dirty way, whereas you send podcast invitations, fake podcast invitations, to executives just to show up. So you talk to them, and in the process, you got pitched. Actually, I think I had one earlier this year or last year, and the other way is the more nice one. You have a nice podcast, you are building something good, you have an audience, and you are inviting your ICP. You are not expecting to sell them directly, but you have a good conversation, you have a good speaker, maybe your CEO is a good speaker, you have a discussion, and this is an opportunity for your CEO to meet the other C level, discuss between them, open a connection, but also because the podcast is executive to executive, it's more something that an executive will actually listen to. So podcast also I will put the podcast invitation there, but it's a lot of work to keep a podcast. It gets you more than 1 year to see ROI there. And the same with the influencer events that you said. Sponsored influencer events open the doors, and some other. And there are some. I don't know if you meant the demo days, because there are organizations that do exactly that. They do demonstrations to groups of executives, and most of these demonstrations are sponsored. But I'm not sure how many of those are actually sponsored. They're supposed to filter the list for you, so you are might be paying as an executive maybe $1,000 just to get the 5 top tools by their analysts. But their analysts essentially they're selling sponsorship spots for these demonstrations. So I'm not sure. Like I know that was an older tactic. I'm not sure how much is used right now because it's very secretive. Mhm. Yeah. The only good thing, yeah, yeah. The only good thing about it is that the biggest players there actually don't allow sponsorships by not reputable companies. So they have a filtering. It's not great, but they do have a filtering step at least. So we we have about we have about 5 minutes. It was a personal brand, but I think we spoke a lot. You want to close it? I think up to now I like it. Honestly, just to tell you, I will cut this part. I like it. I will post on my Substack as a full podcast style. I like it. I will just remove a few spots that might have stopped, but I like it as full, and then we can cut it ourselves for shorts.